Winebow, g'day, Nick Goldschmidt here. I am so proud, so happy that I'm working with Winebow. You are the best distributor in the USA. You can tell anyone. And what's really important to me are these three wines. We've had a long relationship with Winebow. I think it's been more than 10 years now, originally with Distinguished Vineyards. And the first wine that we ever released with you was the Counselor, Alexander Valley, Cabernet. This vineyard is really unique, and so we really wanted to find a way to get it into the market. So what do? Four things. Number one, we're generational. So you can see this crazy photo of my 5 children behind me. Luke is actually a winemaker and he's working with us already. And Chelsea is already in sales and she lives in Texas. The wines that we make are all great value when I tell you about who the neighbors are and my history of making wine in the Alexander Valley and in the Russian River. And then thirdly, we're beyond organic. We're moving most of our vineyards now to regenerative farm, which means no turning of the earth, which is really important because weeds will always come into the vineyard and you always struggle against them. So why not work with them? So that's really important to us. And working with my family, being generational, doesn't only mean I'm not talking about generational, my family, but also the families that I work with, the growers that have been in the valley for 3-4 generations that I'm now working with. And then same thing with restaurateurs and retailers, etc. And then the fourth thing that we do is we are completely hands-off. None of these wines have yeast, acid, water, mega purple, one vineyard, one vintage, one variety. They're all vegan. And so let's talk about each wine. The first one we're showing is a new release. This is the Counselor Sauvignon Blanc. So this comes from the Russian River. It's actually the lowest part in the Russian River. So what does a Kiwi know about Sauvignon Blanc? Well, I've been living here in California for 40 years. I know a lot about Sauvignon Blanc. And what I know is I think that the American consumer doesn't like too much acid, too much grassy, too much green. And so this wine has to be more subtropical, fleshy, round, long, really targeted to the Mediterranean palate. The second wine, and the one that you've had the longest, is the Cabernet Sauvignon. This is a very, very steep vineyard in the southernmost part of the Alexander Valley, and it faces north-northeast, so it's the coolest location. None of this west-facing stuff, which is too hot. And I just poured a glass earlier. This wine is pure, check out the color, black. This is black fruit, even though it's from the Alexander Valley. Alexander Valley typically has more electric, more minerality, more vertical tannin, more liveliness for a Cabernet. But this one also has a little bit of that black fruit that reminds me a little bit of the great wines of Napa. Yes, I get the tension. Yes, I get the brightness, but I also get this round, fleshiness that you don't typically get from the Alexander Valley. And the last wine for the special Winebow families that have been working with me for a long time, we've also launched the single vineyard Fog's Edge Russian River Chardonnay. This comes from the Sebastopol Hills. I share the vineyard with Kokomo. Randy Peters owns the vineyard. This vineyard has no clones, no Dijon clone, no UC Davis clones, because they're all white peach, and if they're Dijon clones, and they're all apple or pear if they are UC Davis. This is an old Marseille mass selection called C, which is going to give you, again, a lot more subtropical characters. Planted in 1978. This is a really old vineyard, still on AXL1, but it's on a Goldridge soil. So just summarizing, amazing vineyard from Russian River, Sauvignon Blanc. And of course, I'm a Kiwi. I know a lot about Sauvignon Blanc. The Cabernet comes from the Passalacqua vineyard, looks straight out over Jordan and Lancaster. An incredible vineyard, northeast facing. And then a super old vineyard from the Russian River called Fog's Edge. Winebow, I can't thank you enough for all the support. We're a small family business. We're very humbled to be with you. And I definitely think Winebow is the best distributor in the US. Cheers.